But we're now joined by John Steenhuisen on the line. He is a DA leader. Mr. Steenhuisen, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Globe.
Good evening to you and good evening to those South Africans watching at home.
Well, no doubt the President's statement on the imposition of some drastic measures to counter the effects of COVID-19 have been warmly received by most sectors. What's the DA's position on this?
We obviously welcome very much the announcement made this evening by the President. We believe that it is the right action to be taken given the circumstances which South Africa faces now, and obviously the fact that COVID-19 is now on our shores and a reality that we're going to have to face. I think the measures that have been announced are the right ones, and we stand ready to support the government as the official opposition in whatever is required to combat COVID-19, as well as to mitigate against the effects on both our people as well as our economy. And it's very, very important that we stand together across all sectors if we're going to beat COVID-19.
Well, the DA issued a statement, a couple of weeks ago about the emergency protocols, which the DA believes that may not be enough to prevent the virus from entering our borders. Is this the same? Do you still maintain the same position?
Well, I think that this action could have been taken a bit sooner, but I mean, that's not the point. It has been done now. South Africa has acted much quicker than any of the other countries. For instance, in Italy, they had over 3,000 cases before they started to take the drastic types of action that we've seen being announced this evening. So I think that given the fact that we have just over 60 cases in South Africa, with these mitigation measures, with the containment measures, and provided that there's cooperation from citizens and across the spectrum, I think that we're going to be able to get the jump on the virus and ensure that we don't have the same effects that other countries that waited a bit longer into the cycle to react have felt.
Well, the DA has also called for a dialogue of what it calls of national importance, to start a debate as to how the COVID-19 could be dealt with decisively. But we've seen the Health Minister, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, and his team doing a marvelous job in terms of opening up the communications channels insofar as, educating people about the importance of taking the necessary precautions. So what do you think this national debate will do differently than the Health Minister and his team?
Well, I think that what we do need to do is to bring together as many stakeholders as possible, and this includes political parties as well as organised business, organised labour, so that we can have a multi-stakeholder approach to combating this virus. Government's not going to be able to do this on its own. It's going to require a very broad consensus and a very broad cooperation from across the spectrum in South Africa. You can only do that if all the partners have the maximum amount of information available to them, and that they're asked to make the interventions that will be required and use the leverage that they may have in whatever sector they find themselves to be able to reinforce the message and ensure that the nation stays on the same page when it comes to dealing with the virus.
Mr. Steenhuisen, thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated. That was DA leader John Steenhuisen speaking to us live on the line.